All right, a first look at the HobbyEagle A3 Pro V2. I've got one here. I purchased two of these because they look like they're fairly inexpensive, but they look like very capable gyros. And I was looking for something that had gain adjustment that I could use in some of my larger aircraft, right? So I wanted something that I could connect a PWM receiver to, so that I would have additional ports on the PWM receiver to have either flaps on a single cable, Y cable, or two independent ones. And I think this is going to allow me to do that. Now you could also use an SBACH or PPM receiver with it, but it has separate mechanical gains that you can change on all of the axes, the aileron, elevator, rudder for the roll, the pitch, and the yaw axis. So, and you can also set up a master gain switch on your transmitter so that you can adjust the master gain on the fly, which I think is really cool. All right, so I wanted to do a first look at this. There's a lot of information to go over on this, so I'm going to break it up into different segments. So I'm going to give you the overview on this today, and then we're going to configure it for my Fun Cub, my 1100 millimeter wingspan Fun Cub, which has never had a gyro in it, and I want to set it up with flaps. So I think that this is going to allow me to do that. So you got two of these adhesive pads. They're shock absorbing pads that have adhesive on both sides of it. The white is just the paper. So there's two of those. You also get a capacitor to connect to it. It's basically to ensure that you get a steady flow of voltage to the gyro. I've never had a problem. I've never had to use a capacitor on any of my gyros. I've never had a problem. So I'm not sure that I will use it because it does add some weight as well. It comes with 5 servo cables. So for a PWM receiver to connect 5 different channels up to the gyro. So those are all included. All right, so here are the specs. It's a 6-axis. It's designed for fixed-wing aircraft. For a standard aircraft, with the standard 4-channel aileron, elevator, rudder, throttle, or you can use it for a delta wing, or you can use it for a V-tail. So 3 different types of fixed-wing aircraft you can use it for. You can use PWM, PPM, or SBACH receivers, and it comes with 6 different flight modes, which is pretty cool. And one of them is also a hover mode. So we'll go over those in detail. You have individual gain adjustment for pitch, roll, and yaw axis, and then, like I said, you can also set up a master gain adjustment on channel 6 on your transmitter, which I'm going to do just in case I need to change it while I have it in the air. If I have any oscillations or anything, I'll be able to do that on the fly, which is really, I think, a cool feature. Voltage input is 4.8 to 8.4 volts. Now, these dimension and weight measurements are my own. The dimensions that they had in the documentation were just like a millimeter off of the width and the height, and that was it. So mine was 44 millimeters by 28 millimeters by 14 millimeters. The weight, excluding the wires, just the unit itself, was 10.5 grams. The weight with the capacitor, excluding the wires, was 14.1 grams, and the gyro with the capacitor and all 5 wires is 24.6 grams. So not tremendously heavy considering everything, right? All right, the receiver types, the serial receiver protocols that are supported. And you've got a long list here, but I believe I read in the documentation that for Spectrum you had to have some kind of adapter to use Spectrum satellite receivers. I can't swear to it, but I think that I read that in the manual. So if you have Spectrum receivers, you might want to check the documentation and make sure that that you get the adapter if you need one. Okay. The different flight modes, 6 of them: gyro off, normal, lock, angle, level, and hover. Okay, and then I'll tell you what I believe all these modes mean. All right, so gyro off mode, of course, everybody knows what that means. That's complete manual mode. It completely bypasses the gyro. There's no input from the gyro at all. Full manual mode. I always like whatever gyro I use, I want it to have a full manual mode. I think that is the best way to get your plane set up and trimmed and balanced is in full manual mode, and then you could use the gyro. All right, works for me anyway. Normal mode. The normal mode, also known as rate mode, works based on the rotation rate control of each axis of the airplane. When operating in this mode, the gyro will only correct currently occurring rotational movements. A momentary reaction will be applied to the servos when the airplane rotating on the corresponding axis. After rotation, the servos move back to their neutral position as soon as the airplane is standing still immediately. The normal mode can be used with nearly any size and type of airplane. It can effectively improve the stability and precision of the airplane and reduce the stall point specifically. Okay, so what does all that mean? The way I interpret that, and I took this directly from the manual, the way I interpret that is this is wind mitigation mode. That is a very long-winded way, I think, of specifying wind mitigation mode. But I think that's what that is. This is one of the modes that I'm going to set it up for on mine, is wind mitigation mode. So when I take it out and fly it the first time, we will find out if I'm correct, if that is wind mitigation mode. But I think so. Lock mode. The lock mode is also known as the attitude lock mode, 3D mode, or AVCS mode. Different from normal mode, the gyro will perform a permanent correction for rotation movements on each axis constantly. That is, when you release the sticks, the airplane will stop and lock its current position. Immediately. This mode is well suited for practicing basic 3D maneuvers such as hovering or knife edge, since it can help you lock the attitude of the airplane. It is also helpful for landing. Okay, so this is kind of like the best way I could explain it would be like air mode on a quadcopter, if I remember the way air mode worked, because it's been a long time since I flew a quadcopter. But the way I remember it, that's the way air mode worked on quadcopter, so that if you rotated it for 45 degrees and then centered the stick, the gyro would hold it at that 45 degree tilt until you provided the opposite movement to straighten it back up again. Now, I do not like that mode, especially on an airplane. And I've had airplanes with so-called 3D mode on the ready-to-fly planes that's the way they operated. Okay, so in order to come back to level, you've got to put in the opposite input. So if you bank it to the left to get it back to the center position, you've got to move the stick to the right. Otherwise, the gyro will hold it in that position at that angle. I don't care for that mode at all. Maybe some of you do, but I don't like it. Angle mode. Former trainer mode. So the angle mode, also known as trainer mode of attitude mode, will limit the maximum angle of the airplane on both roll and pitch axis, and you can set that. You can set that on the menu system on the gyro itself. You can set that for 30 degrees bank angle, roll angle, and I guess also yaw angle. I don't know. 30, 60, and 90. So you can set it up so that if you can set it up in fully stabilized mode and get a 90 degree angle out of it, that is not very restrictive. I think it defaults to 60, which is probably typically where most of these ready to fly, fully stabilized modes prevent you. That's typically, I would say, about your maximum angle on most of these ready to fly planes that I've flown that don't have an adjustment on the amount of angle. 60 degrees sounds about like that. All right, so the way I interpret this is your parachute button. Okay, this is absolute beginner mode. You can't do loops, you can't do rolls, you can't do anything other than cruise around with it, right? So, and it's fully stabilized. So as soon as you center the sticks, it's going to center. All right, so, and that's the mode that I have on most of my planes. Is this mode and then the level mode, where it works like wind mitigation mode, that and also manual mode. That's the three modes I typically set up, but with this one, I think I'm going to do it just slightly different. Level mode. Level mode is also known as the auto level mode, auto balance mode, or horizon mode. And I remember this mode in my quadcopter too. This is the mode that I like. When operating in this mode, the airplane will be brought to horizontal position automatically when releasing the stick. So it will auto level the plane when the 6 sticks are centered, okay? And different from the angle mode, there's no maximum angle limitation in this mode, and the airplane will be stabilized only when there's no specific control input from the aileron or elevator stick. So apparently it doesn't recenter the rudder, apparently, because it doesn't list it. We'll have to test that. This mode can be used if the pilot becomes disoriented or would like to save the airplane from crashing. Okay, so this mode works like acrobat mode on the RadioLink BIME A gyro, and I think it came on version 2 of those gyros where they included acrobat mode, and I absolutely love that mode. I think that is the best way to learn how to do aerobatics, because if you get messed up or you lose orientation, all you have to do is center the sticks, and it will center the plane for you. It'll level the plane, but it doesn't have any angle restriction. So it's kind of the best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned. Level mode, I think, is going to be the most restrictive mode that I set this up for. I'm going to set it up for level mode. That's the way I'm going to launch it, fly it, and land it, is in level mode. And then I'm going to set it up for, what was it? I can't remember now. Let's go back and look. Angle mode, normal mode. So I'm going to be looking at using level mode as the most restrictive, which isn't restrictive at all, but does auto leveling. And then the next mode will be the normal mode that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to use the full manual mode. So that's the 3 modes that I plan on setting up to begin with. Now, if the level mode doesn't work the way I want it to, then I will go back and set it up for angle mode as the most restrictive. But I'm going to start off with level mode. Hover mode. The hover mode, also known as the auto hover mode, provides the same functionality as the level mode. The only difference is that when you release the sticks, the airplane will be brought to vertical position, nose up, and keep hovering. So this is like the vertical fixed wing mode on the RadioLink BIME A, because they have a vertical mode, both multi-rotor and fixed wing mode. So this is like the fixed wing vertical mode on the RadioLink BIME A gyro. So, and I'm familiar with those. So if you're willing to practice with a 3D plane, then I would set up this mode as well. Okay. Gyro mount options. Okay. So you can of course mount it flat, which is the way most people will mount it. It has a little arrow here, so the ports are going to be facing the back of the aircraft and the front right here. This is the front of it where the arrow is pointing forward. Okay, this is going to be pointing toward the nose of the aircraft. So you can mount it flat like this, or you can mount it inverted, or you can mount it on either side, on its left side or on its right side. Now, in the menu system, you need to let it know how you have it oriented. And that will, once you set that in the menu system, then it will be, stabilizing in the proper directions, okay? And channel order. Channel 1 is aileron, channel 2 is elevator, channel 3 you're going to use for your ESC connection if you're using a single wire SBACH or PPM receiver. Okay, if you're not, then you won't be using that port if you're using the PWM receiver. Channel 4 is for the rudder. Channel 5 is for your gyro modes. I would put that on a 3-position switch. Channel 6 is your gyro remote master gain that I was talking about being able to set up. I would put that on either a slide or a dial and associate that slide or dial to channel 6. Right? And then you have a master gain that you can use. The gyro calibration and phase adjustment. So there's level, there's a calibration for level, horizontal level. There's a calibration for hovering, straight up and down. And then you can also calibrate the accelerometer if you need to. But that portion, they state in the manual, is done before it's shipped out. So you shouldn't have to calibrate the accelerometer. But if it's acting weird or something, then I would go ahead and do that. All right, and all those can be performed via the gyro menu system. And the phase adjustment can be performed via the gyro menu system. And when I talk about phase adjustment, I'm talking about the direction in which the gyro is correcting your control surface. So if your stick is moving your control surface in the proper direction, but when you tilt the plane, it is correcting in the wrong direction, there's a menu setting for being able to change that, whatever axis you need to change it on, whether it's roll, pitch, or yaw axis. You can change that in the menu system. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a better picture of it here. So this little button here is what you're going to use to perform all these functions. Setting up your orientation, doing the calibration. If you need to do a phase adjustment to have it correct in the opposite direction on one of the axes, you're going to do everything from this button, watching the LED light, the color, and how many flashes you get from the LED will tell you what parameter you're in and what it's set for. And then here are the three, aileron, elevator, rudder. For all three axes, you have a manual gain adjustment here. Okay, so here's your port for your serial receiver or your PPM receiver, and it also serves as your, if you're using a PWM receiver, this port will also serve as your master gain port. Okay, if you are using a serial or PPM receiver, then your ESC will be connected here, of course, because you typically won't have a way to connect it to the receiver because it's a single wire, right, connection. So your ESC will be connected here where it says throttle out / aileron. If you're using a PWM receiver where you've got a cable going from each port on the receiver to each port on the gyro, then this will be your aileron port rather than your throttle port. Okay. And then you have a port for your mode, your elevator, your rudder, and then your three output ports here is number 1 is aileron, number 2 is elevator, number 3 is your rudder. Okay, so, and that's it. The top pins are for your signal, the center pins are for your voltage, and the bottom pins are for your ground, just like every receiver or gyro I've used so far, as far as the pin alignment. Okay. All right, so that's a wrap on this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode where we'll go over the configuration and calibration of this gyro and get ready to put it into an aircraft for testing. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.